So I reckon we should go and do a bit of violence, so you can see some combat in hardcore, and this will probably get me killed because I really spoon up when I know people are watching me and I'm fighting. I'm fucking terrible at combat. But let's go and see the difference, interlopers. Let's see if we can. Let's go and get a bandit quest. See if we can get another bandit quest. I can perfectly sum up hardcore for you in this statement. There are two ways for me to go to Townburg from here. There's that way or that way. Going this way is slightly faster. But if you're going really fast and you miss a turning, you'll just end up fucked off in the north somewhere, lost, and then you have to kind of turn around and backtrack. So even though this way is longer, I go this way because there's a much smaller chance of me getting lost. And that is hardcore for you. You getting lost is a absolutely fucking enormous pain in the cock in this game. On hardcore, if you get lost in the woods, you can literally end up emerging somewhere and just going, what the fuck? How did I get here? Thank you, peasant. So you're always trying to keep your bearings. You're always trying to take routes that involve the fewest possible opportunities to get lost, even if it means travelling a slightly longer journey. And yeah, that is why I also suggest just make your horse as fast as you possibly can, because you are going to be saddle sore. Right.
Yeah.
You know what? I might take your advice and change to the coming bow actually. Go. Yeah, I am using cheese. Yeah. What house do you have on hardcore? What do you mean, Rico? Where do I mainly operate out of? See if there's another corpse around here. There's actually often a scrap going on there. That's a good little bandit ambush point there. So you'll regularly pick up gear. Rico, if you mean by what I may use as my main base, I will by default, if I'm down in the south. Oh, horse. I go for warhorse gender because she's got good all-round stats. I'm not sure she's the best at anything. I'm not sure she's the actual best at anything. But another quick bit of advice: if you're going to use poisons on your weapons, always have antidote on you, because if you use poisons, inevitably sooner or later you're going to accidentally drink your poison as opposed to apply it to your weapon. So if you're in the poison game, carry some fucking antidote. I think I always got one on my horse. Yeah. But yeah, Warhorse gender, I just find, I don't think she's the fastest, or I don't think she's the best in any particular category. But all round, she's a good Warhorse, I find. There's probably someone watching the stream right now who will turn around and go, you should really have this horse or this horse. But I generally am happy with Warhorse gender. She seems to have a good combination of overall stats. Because yeah, I don't want a glass cannon horse. And this might not be science, but this is based on my interpretation of the game stats. I assume that courage affects how much she will shy and do things like that. And I don't want to get thrown off my horse in combat. If you get dismounted, that can be one of the worst things for you in a fight, because you can end up on the floor with 4 people beating on you. That is not a nice party to be a guest at. So yeah, I want a combination of solid stats. I'm going to try and ride and answer some more questions in chat. Have a look. Theron. So survival in Fallout 4 felt like it had a peak moment where it was very tough up to a certain point, then the difficulty evened out and you start steamrolling through the game. How does heroic mode for Kingdom Come compared to Fallout Survival on reaching peak moment? On hardcore I've certainly not reached that moment in hardcore. I'm not sure I've reached that moment on any difficulty level, because as happened to me yet again yesterday, just when you think you're doing really well, like I was in a fight yesterday and I was just farming these bandits and everything was going well and I was dominating and I was like, yeah, I can do this now. And then I pulled this one bandit, sprinted straight at me out of the camp, and he was in full plate. And he immediately ran over, bashed my horse. My horse reared up, I hit the deck, the other guys piled over, and then they killed me. So even when you've got all the gear and all the skills, the game can turn on a sixpence. You really can be playing there thinking, yeah, I've got this in the fucking bag, and you can make one fuck up and you're looking at the death screen. And yesterday, for example, and I made this mistake before, there's a random encounter where there's a heavily armoured knight on the road, and he will challenge you to a duel for money, just a practice duel, not to the death. And yet again, I saw this guy on the road and thought, oh yeah, I'll fight this guy. And I literally was just about to dismount next to him, and 3 more knights came out of the woods. And that was the point where I realised, fuck, it's not the random encounter. That's a really heavily armoured bandit. And I got dismounted, and luckily I survived that encounter by running away and getting in a string of extremely lucky shots. But by rights, I should have lost that fight. Yeah. So yeah, the game still, even now, will catch you out. If you get too cocky and overconfident, you will get fucked up. No two ways about it. because you're never more than two strings of chain strikes away from a potentially fatal head injury. And once you start to get hurt in this game, the fights get exponentially harder. Yeah, sorry, a very long, rambling answer to your question, but yeah, it certainly lulls you into that sense of overconfidence. But yeah, I don't think there's yet a point in this game where you can just stop giving a fuck and face roll it. I mean, even down to the fact that sometimes you get like really confident about, oh yeah, it's, you know, I'll go and do these bandits, and then for some fucking reason 6 of them are there instead of the 3 you thought were there, and 2 of them are really high level bandits who have got, say, very fast sabers or fast Cumin axes, and they will just be wailing on you, and you'll suddenly find yourself shitting your pants and running for the fucking hills. I agree with you about Fallout 4 though. I'd say on any difficulty level, I think with the Fallout games, they can get to a point where it's like, yeah, you can nail anything that comes your way. You know, Deathclaw, you name it. I mean, you know, good example would be Deathclaws, in fact, because once you're very high level, if a Deathclaw attracts you, you know, you just casually drop into vats and put 5 rounds into its foot, and then it can't run. And then suddenly one of the most devastating enemies in the game is just limping around, and you've got all day to kill it. You don't really have that equivalent in Kingdom Come.
The monk's got no business out here.
Just going to catch up with comments. Yeah, I would say if you pile on tons and tons of armor,
aren't you? Jesus Christ be praised.
You can get out of quite a lot, but
I've taken care of that camp.
Oh yes? And what proof might you
I've
have?
never felt indestructible in this game ever. Well, that's a lie.
There we are. One less
Sometimes I have felt indestructible.
Here's your reward.
And then I've made
Some
stupid decisions and got myself
There's
killed.
An encampment across the ford on the wooded headland there. Go and deal with that.
I'll take a look around. I have some, trophies.
Let's have them. There are plenty of them. My lad, you're the wrath of God personified. Farewell.
By the way, Vlamenzi, so what's the rate of fire difference between the sinew bow and the cumin bow? Because I think I may have nerfed myself for going for the more powerful bow here. Because it does seem to shoot very slow.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to sell some shit. Strangle a couple of monks. Then go and kill some bandits. I would say just one random stealth factoid here. The felt hat. The felt hat actually has some very weird stealth properties. If you don't care how much of a numpty you look, the felt hat basically cancels out the noise of your head armor. Just so you know. but you just look silly. But that then we're gonna go and swap back when I get to my hotel. Right. Fucking Jesus, it's so hot in the UK at the moment.
God be with you. Goodbye.
Cold vodka. Hello, mate. How you doing? We are about to do some crime. I have to do more crime on my stream because I'm being completely outdone. I don't know if you noticed, but Cyber has actually stolen virtually every horse in the game and has it grazing in Privoslavich. He's watched my stream and just gone, I can do more crime than that. And he's literally become the arch horse rustler of Bohemia. See, I mean, the yellow Cotard is a bad example, but there's a darker Cotard and you'll get like 1 extra armor protection in each category, but more than that will be taken off your stealth, so it's just not, you know, it's just not worth fucking around with. Right, where we at? Yeah, brown felt hat. This is like male coifs, padded shows. Some of these items have the same name, but they actually can have different stats. But these 2 brown felt hats actually, they give a tiny bit of armor protection, and they're actually good for reducing your visibility and conspicuousness. I just don't want to look like a fucking idiot. But yeah, brown felt hat. I think if I actually repaired that as well, it would. In fact, I am going. No, I'm not going to bother. But if you repair that, it suffers from this. It benefits from your maintenance perk, so it will actually reduce your noise to 0. No, I didn't, Lamenzi. Right, let's make sure we're on 100%. And yeah, I'm fucking OCD about my repair because I don't want things. I don't want my gear getting below the point where I can repair it myself, because obviously once you've got all these fancy maintenance perks. I hope he's not shouting for me.
Catch him!
What are you?
I'll try not to kill him this time, because last time I killed him I got fucking arrested. There you go. So, did you just kill? Is he wearing a nappy? Or there's some kind of weird chaps he's wearing? Oh, bless.
You showed him. Thank you. That thieving magpie. You can't trust anyone these days.
Yeah,
Just
thieving
so
magpie.
You know, I'm no pinch purse. Here's a small reward.
Thanks.
Because, you know, 4 groschen is a totally legitimate, fucking sensible use of my time.
Yeah.
All right, let's go and get some new threads from our guys at the church. Just hope the gambler's not there. The gambler started hanging around the church. Now I've started regularly thieving from them. Yeah, the gambler started hanging around in the church, and I don't know if it's the game responding to the fact that I've come here like... There he is. What time is it? Oh, Jesus, they've gone for lunch.
What? Clear off before I have you thrown out.
Are you looking for me?
See if I can...
Got no business out here. What happened to your vows?
I really want to kill this guy. I've just done a quest where I beat him at bloody dice. Not sure I can get past him.
Well, I never.
No.
A monk's got no business. What are you doing here? You're playing truant from the monastery. What's the matter, laddie? Need to shit?
I think he saw me. I think I'm gonna get a fine for this one. I think he's going to wake up and report me. But we will be long gone. And that's not my...
Yeah.
The other advantage, of course, of making sure that you've paid for accommodation in inns is if you do get into trouble with the law, you can just go and ride straight to the inn and rest without having to interact with anybody, which can be very handy if you're cocking up robbery like that. Small tailor's outfit, yeah, nice. That's a spare one of what we got on. So, interlopers. Fuck, I know who these guys are.
Yeah.
Go and buy a couple of saviour snaps and then get the fuck out of Dodge. Yes, I'm meant to be in the monastery. See what I mean?
Aren't you meant to be? Monk's got no business out here.
Yes, I'm meant to be in the monastery. Fuck. Yes. The best all-round food I've found so far, I've got to admit, is bread. Bread seems to be the most filling. The bandit camp for the quest that's to the left of Sasso is super hard for me. Took me multiple tries to complete. Yeah, I remember this camp. Because it's not easy. I'd say that personally I find the approach to the camps are king. Some camps you can't really get clean line of sight onto the occupants, so you actually kind of have to get in relatively close, and that's when you can get undone. And this is one, it's in the woods. I think there's a bit of a... I think there's a pond by it as well, and I seem to have some vague memory of accidentally dunking my horse into some fucking creek and getting stuck. I think there's a crossing around here. Let's have a look. Hibbersnev, are there road signs in this game, or are you completely lost in hardcore if you don't know where you are? That is a very fucking astute question, mate, because playing this on hardcore reminded me that there are road signs in Skyrim, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And there are no road signs here at all. So, just like I put in my hardcore guide, you kind of got to constantly remind yourself of where you are, because it's better not to get lost. For me, I'd say 90% of my success with navigation comes from the fact that I try very hard not to get lost in the first place. Because once you do get lost, it can be bloody hard getting your bearings again. So yeah, that's why I'm constantly looking at my map, because I'm constantly trying to thread my way to where I'm going. So if a moment comes where I do get lost, I at least have a pretty good idea of where I got lost. But yeah, navigation's a big thing on hardcore. Yeah, Vlamendi just said playing through on hardcore the first time is not recommended because of this, and I would absolutely agree. You want to at least have a rough idea of certain places, just so that there's things for you to recognise. Yeah. If there's not a damn thing in this game that you'll ever recognise because it's the first time you've played it, Christ knows how you ever find your way home again. Rico says normal mode is hard enough. Yeah, I mean, it's worth remembering. Lots of people freaked out about this game on normal. I mean, it's not an easy game on normal. And I honestly think that reflected in the reviews of this game, because I know how seductive it is to do game reviews in a certain style. And it's one of the reasons I don't do regular game reviews. Basically, it goes like this. You get a game as early as possible. You are trying to get the review out as fast as you possibly can. So you play just about enough of the game to get your bearings. And then you crank out some fucking cliches. Some pros, some cons. Something a bit clever and unique. And then pump out the review. And it doesn't really do the game justice. And how the fuck do you apply the standard stereotype review model to a game that you pretty much have to play for a week before you even know what the fuck's going on? And that's why I think a lot of the reviews of this game were 1, bad, and 2, negative. And then you have, you know, a few outliers like Worth a Buy, who played this game to death, absolutely loved it, gave it a very positive and very good review. Yeah, they've certainly toned down Mace's. Vlamendi's talking about how they patch things. Yeah, Mace's used to be pretty overpowered, and then they're not now. I was using the axe on this playthrough till yesterday. Right. I'm actually gonna stick a saver. Please tell me I bought my Kuman bow. No, I forgot to bring the other bow. Oh Christ! Yeah, I like this game to be bloody hard. I didn't buy it, you know. I mean, you know, even down to my outfit. I'm actually prepared. I'm prepared to make compromises with my protection for the sake of my serial killer monk outfit, because that's the kind of game it is. Yeah, now I remember this bloody base. It's really hard to get a shot in without... They seem to fucking spot you a mile away. I don't know whether that will be a limiting factor to me. I'm terrible with the combos. I barely ever pull them off, and I've found other techniques that work well. If I go very quiet, it's because I'm... The stinger. If you're into short swords and shields and stabbing people in the face, stinger is bloody a holy weapon. Oh fuck. Right. Yeah, you're right. I think I was so carried away with the power of this bow. I was ignoring how slowly it fucking draws. Oh, here he comes. Fucking shit me. He's coming and he's bringing all of his friends.
Yeah.
Fucking Jesus, what a path. Fucking hell, they're wearing some nice gear actually. Right, I think this guy's ripe for some one-on-one, so I'm going to dismount and go toe-to-toe with him. Fucking hell. That was not a smooth transition.
Shit! Enough!
Well landed.
I'm over here.
Oh dear, that hurts! Fuck it! I'll slay you for that!
That axe is really fucking hurting me. Don't think I've got poison on this fucker once. Motherfucker.
You think you're good, do you?
Shit, die, fucker. There must be a stat for resisting nutcracker. Sorry, headcracker. Because some people just won't go fucking down.
God.
I really need a mace on this prick.
Giving up already?
Thank you. Right. Let's just repair my fucked up kit. Shit, I spent nearly all of that fight just thinking, should have brought a mace. I should have brought a mace. Tino, how you doing, dude? Yeah, Jesus. Metal-plated battle axe. That fucking hurts when you're on the receiving end, I tell you. Right. But yeah, to go back to combos, I'm terrible at them. I just always cock up. I barely ever pull them off. Yeah, I think the potion... fairly low sword skill. But fuck it. Poison's poison, so... that should give me the advantage I need. I should really be doing this with an axe or a mace, but you're not watching this stream because you want common sense and extremely skilled gameplay. So let's go back. Batjack, thank you very much for the follow, mate. Let's see. Arrow to the knee. I was going to say, I've seriously have missed a lot of opportunities on stream of making arrow to the knee jokes, considering I do a lot of horse archery.